What are 10 daily habits you can take in order to get to 10% body fat? This video has come at a perfect time as I have just finished my own cut, getting down to the levels of body fat you can see on the screen in front of you. So I think now is a great time to really harness everything that was done within a given day and consolidate it for you so you understand what it would take on the daily points. And this comes quite nicely after the goal setting lecture where we mapped out the vision and understood the needs for it. What were we doing on a monthly basis that we need to tick off? Now it's more important to get to the actual nitty gritty, because as I said, we can only really control what we do on the very, very daily micro points. And here are 10 things you can do within a given day to get yourself to 10% body fat, ready for the fucking summer. So when we're on the beach, we look sick, we feel the best we ever have. We can rub our hands up and down our abs and feel bumpiness. Everyone's looking and thinking, fucking good effort. You got yourself in good nick for summer. This man is obviously a man of discipline. So let's roll straight into it. The first step to get you to 10% body fat is as soon as you get out of bed and you've had a piss, weigh yourself. Do that every day. Remember, we're not married to the number on the scale, but what that will straight away do is it will keep you accountable to the plan, because you know every morning that scale weight over the term it'll be trending down, and if things have gone drastically up, you will see that on the digit, because the scale will not lie if you cheated on it the day before. Accountability really is everything. Like, you could follow the plan, but if you don't have someone to hold you accountable to it, it's going to become a challenge. It's going to become a real challenge when things get hard, when things get tough. Like, we all have discipline inside of us, because discipline just comes from the intrinsic need to fulfill the goal and whatever it was, because of the need behind why the goal was even set. But there will become times where you just fall off, because we're just human beings. So having someone to keep you accountable is very, very important. So weighing in daily. The next thing I'll say is, a big habit we need to have is weighing out our food, and specifically tracking our calories. If we're not doing that, we're never going to know if we're going to be in the right space moving towards the 10% body fat. Obviously, here we've scripted out all your meal plans for you, so you know exactly, if I eat this, I will drop a certain amount of weight and I'll get to the point. But if we weren't tracking calories and just doing it off the fly, there really is there's no chance that we would get there. Step 3. Eat whole foods and eat as clean as you possibly can. Why do I say this? Because if it's a whole food, it will have more nutrients. It won't be more dense in calories, but it'll be more filling, and it'll give your body what it actually needs versus something that is sugary. So let's say I give you a certain amount of grams, or let's say I give you 50 grams of oats and 50 grams of Cocoa Pops. The oats will keep you fuller for longer. And that really is the aim of the game here. The aim of the game when we're dieting is to manage the levels of hunger, because if we can manage the levels of hunger, the longer we can continue to diet down. So whole foods will always be the winner, and eat as clean as you possibly can. We understand then first 3 points are to do with weigh-in, tracking, and nutrition. The next one is resistance training. Now, if you're to look at my physique, we need to scope the resistance training session relative to how we want the body to look. We could just eat in a calorie deficit, do loads of cardio, and we would lose weight, and we may get down to 10% body fat. But the problem is you may not look 10% body fat because we are lacking in muscle tissue. The bigger you are, the leaner you look, ultimately, when you get down to these levels. So we want a structured training plan that is relative to our upper body goals. That means we're hitting the upper body muscles twice per week. There's adequate days of rest in between those muscle areas, and there's adequate rest days across the plan, and we're applying progressive overload. The next thing will be to walk 10,000 steps daily. This is relative to your output that you're performing throughout the day. Walking is an amazing way to burn body fat, because it doesn't really spike the appetite. It's not high enough in output that it will also burn carbohydrates. And obviously it's very good for just clearing the mind, the thoughts. And when you are hungry and you want to go and cheat, mainly out of boredom, you get out, you walk, and then you've distracted yourself from the point. One of the biggest habits I would adopt, maybe this should have even been number 1, is planning ahead. Life will always get you. You'll have an emergency where you need to take someone somewhere. You'll have a long day at work that you didn't anticipate for. There is always something. I say this to you guys within your check-in videos every week. Life will always try and get to us, and this is why I actually get you to grade your organization scale 1 out of 5 to even get you thinking in the mindset. How well am I organized? Have I prepared my meals ready for the day ahead? Have I planned the way the structure of my day is going to go? So I can actually ensure I get to sleep a good amount of time. Planning ahead is literally 90% of the battle. Otherwise, we're playing catch up, and the diet is literally beating us up, throwing jabs at us, and we're trying to slip and dodge, and we get tired, and then we get caught by one, aka we roll over, which goes on to the next point. I'm calling it control the cheating. I know we're not intentionally cheating, but what that means is if we need to have an off-plan meal, it needs to be controlled. And this is why I always say to you, send me the menu, let's work out what it is you can eat, and then let's manipulate the day of eating relative to that meal out that we're going to have. Because, of course, over a long period of time, if you've not dieted before, to just go no off-plan meals is very hard to do. You have to be slightly weird and psychotic like me to want to do that. So I can appreciate the odd off-plan meal is actually useful and can sometimes keep adherence that little bit longer, but it's control, so we control the cheating. Sleep routine. Everyone knows, yeah, sleep is important, and it is important, but this is why. Because if you don't sleep well enough the night before, the next day, everything is harder. Go and do the steps is harder. Go and train is harder. Doing your actual job is harder. And you're just generally, it's harder to manage appetite when you are more tired. So like, I cannot say how important it is just to sleep properly. Which also rolls on to the other point with hydration. Sometimes we think we're hungry. Other times we were just dehydrated. Sometimes we think we just want something for boredom. Other times if we just had that water and we can just drink through it, then actually it wouldn't have really been too much of a problem, and we could have just scratched the itch of like needing something to have in our hands. But hydration also important because when you are consuming your carbohydrates, if you are hydrated, it's going to help shuttle them into the muscle a lot easier, and you'll actually be able to use them as fuel. Like the term is in the title, where you are literally having carbo and hydrating them into the muscle. So the last point we will add on is daily cardio. And this is only it's not relevant at the very start of your dieting point, but I would always say add in cardio before we pull food, because food will drive performance in the gym. And mentally, if we feel like we've still got meals and food going in, we're okay doing an extra 10 minutes on a treadmill or something. We've got our tunes on anyway, podcast is on, and we're happy with these points. So these are the daily things we need to do within a given day to get to the overarching goal of where it is. And it's just a case of ticking these off with raw aggression and discipline each and every day. And as a result, we will get to the end goal of 10% body fat. Boys, I hope you found this useful. If you did, let me know in the comments below.